This is the help video for Access Chapter 3, Pause and Practice Number 1. There are 4 pause and practices in Chapter 3, so when we rename our file, we want to make sure that it ends with a -4. This chapter is all about queries. Queries are super important and very powerful in the database world. It is the vehicle that you use to ask questions about your data and get a result set. Those results can be output to a screen. It could be put into a report and printed. It could be sent to a file to be perhaps brought into something else like Excel to do statistics on. So to begin, we're going to start with this Placer Hills -03 file. And we're going to open up that file, and we want to rename it. So I'm opening it up and I'm enabling it. To rename a database file when you're in it, you need, it's not just a simple file save as. There's a few steps that you have to do. File, save as, save database as, make sure it says access, save as. It will then bring you up to the screen where you can name it. So we want to do your initials, PP, A for access, Chapter 3-4. And then make sure you know where you're saving. And I'm just going to put mine on my desktop. Put it in your documents or on your USB drive or wherever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and do save and enable. So now I have the database open and named correctly, and I won't have to worry about renaming it again. I can keep this name. Through the whole chapter. So I do want to just take a minute to look at this. We have 2 tables that already exist. One is the agent table. So if you look at this, it's got various agents' names for this Placer Hills real estate, right? Notice the plus sign. That kind of gives you a clue that these are related, because if I click this open, you can see all of the listings that Simon is responsible for. So if I go over here to listings, you'll see all of the properties. Another way to check relationship is to come up to Database Tools Relationship, and you can see that there's already a relationship built. And so if you just kind of think through it, one agent could have many listings, right? If one agent only had one listing, they're not a very good employee. So the employee number in this table is the primary key. That means there can only be one number 1, one number 2, one number 3. Over here, though, this field is repeated. It's called something different, and that's okay. As long as the data types are the same, it can be called different. This is what's called the foreign key. Remember that from the last chapter in listing? That means that this is a primary key somewhere else, and it's repeated here. In this case, it's not the primary key because we want to have an agent number in here multiple times for each listing. What the primary key is for listing, the listings table, is the listing ID. So if you want to look at a relationship, you can always go to that screen and take a look at it. So we're going to create a query in Design View. Now, so we're going to come up here to create. So anytime you want to do a new object, you go to create, and then you see these are the main objects. So we're on queries, and we want to do query design. It's going to bring up this screen that has a grid at the bottom, and then over here on the right, it's going to ask what tables or other queries do you want to build this query on. So the first thing we need to figure out is what is the question that we're asking. And so it doesn't really tell us, so I'm going to come down here and just kind of look at the answer, because you wouldn't start a query unless you knew what you were trying to achieve. So what we want to look at here is all of the listings by the agent, right? So we want to look at the information from those two tables together. So we would have our agents and then all of the listings. Next agent, all of their listings. Next agent, all of their listings, right? Which makes sense. You'd want to be able to print like a master report of that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to say, okay, I need the agent table because that has the agent information, and I need the listing table. So I'm going to double click on that. I'm all done with this. I'm going to close it up so we have some more room. And then one of the things that I always do is I just kind of always open up my table boxes if I can so that you can see all the fields. And then I'm just going to bring that up. So here is all of the available fields from these two tables that are joined on the employee number. I need to decide what pieces of information do I want in my query. So that's going to bring it down to this grid. And what order do I want to see it? So if we take a look at this, listing ID from the listing table, okay? Listing ID, address. All I'm doing is finding the field and double clicking. It's going to move it down here. City, list price, square foot, beds, baths, garage, and now okay. So now they want first name, last name, phone. Well, that's not here. That's why we've joined it, because that only exists in one place, in the agent table. So we're going to do first name, last name, and phone number. And I can't see all this, so I'm just going to make sure I got that. And I'm just going to run through this one more time. So listing, address, city, list price, square foot, beds, bath, garage. First name, last name, phone. And you can see down here in the grid, you can see what table it's from. So we are going to look at all the listings and then the corresponding agents. I think I said it backwards when I was identifying what the query is. I was saying agent first and then listing, but we're looking at it by listings. So you could hand your clients, here's a listing, and then if they come up with a listing they like, look at the agent information. So if I go ahead and I say run, and at this point, run and view do the same thing. So here is all of our listings, and then look over here, Simon, 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 Kelly, 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 right? John, 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 Rick, Rick, Rick. So all of our listings in order by listing ID. So we're going to go ahead and save, and we're going to call this show all listings with an S. Okay, that's pretty, I would be able to look at that name and know what it is. It's going to show me all the listings. So I'm going to go ahead and okay. So click the save button, type, click OK. All right. So we need to go back to design view. So I was in run. So design data sheet, right? This button right here. So we want to be in design view. So we want to add a criterion. So right now that listings are all of them, right? But let's say we want just a list of the properties in the city of Roseville. Well, we're not going to go through here and look, right? Where is it at? City, Roseville, right? We don't want to do that. So what we want to be able to do is on this question, on this design, limit what records are returned to those that the city is Roseville. And how we do that is we find the field that we're qualifying on. So that's city. So here's city in my grid. I come down to the row that says criteria, and I click in that little box. And now I'm going to type Roseville. And because I don't put any conditional operator, like a greater than or less than or not equal to, Access assumes equal. Notice I hit the tab key and Access automatically put quotes around Roseville. So those are things you don't have to worry about. You can just let Access help you. So now if I do run, Look, it is now only 11, and they're all in the city of Roseville. So I want to save this query. But if I just do save, it's going to go show all listing, right? So I don't want that because I want that query. I want this to be a second query that's just Roseville. So I'm going to come up here and do File, Save As. I'm not saving the database. I'm saving the object, query object. So I'm going to do Save Object As, Save Object As, Save As. And then it comes up and says, okay, here's the name, copy of. And we don't want that. We want it listings in Roseville. Notice I'm still using that camel case. Everything's scrunched together and every word has a capital letter. Okay, so now let's close it and look at our navigation pane. Look, now I have two queries. Show all listings, boom, I get all of them. There's however many, 32. Click on listings in Roseville and I have 11. I started with this one and I modified it to a new question. Instead of show me all listings with the agents, it's show me all listings in the city of Roseville and their agents. Okay. So let's go right click on show all listings and go into design. So we want to further enhance this. So my person who's looking for a house in Roseville says, you know what, it has to have an attached garage. Okay, so an attached garage. So that has to do with garages. So I find the field called garage. I come down to the criteria. And now I want to do an asterisk, which means I don't care what's here. Like it could be any letters, any numbers, 1, 10, 0, whatever. The word attached and then another asterisk. So what I'm saying here is really the field garage has to have the word attached in it. There can be stuff before it, there can be stuff after it, but somewhere in that field it has to have the word attached. Now watch when I hit tab. It puts in like and the quotes. So step 12 has you type that, but honestly, you don't need to. You can just type asterisk, attached, asterisk, and then tab. And Access is going to fill in the rest. And that way you don't make a mistake, put the wrong character, that type of thing. So now if I run my query, I get even less. I get 8. And look at garage. 3 car, 2 car, 3 car, attached, 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 right? So there was nothing after attached, but there was stuff in front. And it could be 2 car, could be 3 car. So this is a very good query, and we started with another one. So let's save this one, File, Save As, Save Object As, Save Object As, Save As, and this one's going to be called Listings with Attached Garage. See, I would probably put Listings in Roseville with Attached Garage because it's not just... We didn't take away Roseville, right? Let's see, copy this. Oh, I started with the wrong one. Okay, so let's fix that. So let's go back to design. I should not have it in Roseville. So we really want all listings. We were supposed to begin, that's my fault, I'm sorry. We were supposed to begin with the show all listings, and I started with Roseville. So I fixed it, which is perfectly doable. So, and the key here is I should have had 37 and I didn't. So now if I run it, there's the 37. So look, it's still attached, but the city is not just Roseville. So I'm going to change that and make a save. So we should now have 3, all listings, 36, Roseville, 11, attached garage, 37. So there must only be one, 57, show all listings, 57. So let's take a look. at what some of these are. Here, carport, no garage. So all of those are excluded. Detached. All of those are excluded from my query that says listings with attached garage. Okay, we're going to go ahead and end this movie and move on to pause and practice number 2. All right, thank you.